Hello and welcome to Quantum Marketing Sense Live. This is a forum for forward-looking discussions with subject matter experts and industry thought leaders who have really fascinating perspectives to share with us. And so far, the feedback that I had from all of you has been overwhelmingly positive, and I'm very grateful for that. And I'll continue to try and bring in as many thought leaders and subject matter experts as possible to give their perspectives, their insights, which could hopefully serve as an inspiration for you all. And, firstly, it would be great for me to know where you're all dialing in from. So please do indicate in the chat box where you are dialing in from. Today, I'm absolutely delighted that we have an amazing leader, not just in marketing, but way beyond that. She's our 16th guest on Quantum Marketing Sense Live. She is none other than Asmita Dubey, who is the Chief Digital and Marketing Officer at L'Oreal. Asmita, a very, very warm welcome to you, and thank you very much for making the time.
Hello, Raja. Thank you for inviting me. Very happy to spend these coming 45 minutes together.
Yeah, just in case anyone was wondering why I have called her for this particular session, I must say that I heard her speak at the WFA, which is the World Federation of Advertisers Forum, at their board meeting actually, during Cannes Lions last year. And I was blown away with what she was doing, her way of thinking, and how forward and how progressive her marketing strategies are and the thought processes are. And just to give a little bit of introduction to Asmita, and probably Asmita will just ask you this. You have vast experience in advertising where you worked across multiple industries. You have vast experience in digital marketing, and you have vast experience in various geographies, from China and South Asia to now global roles. And you grew up in India, and now you have made Paris as your home for the last so many years. Can you tell us, the audience, about your journey and how you got to where you got to today, which is truly inspiring and absolutely fascinating?
Well, hello again, Raja. Thank you for that very, very nice introduction. I can share about myself. So my name is Asmita Dubey. I'm the middle child of my parents. I grew up in India. Ever since I was a child, I have liked both maths and poetry. I did my graduation in statistics and mathematics. Then I did MBA and joined advertising. Then I came to China quite early. Back in 2005, I moved to China. There was a rise of technology, rapid digitalization, and all of this was fueling my left brain, because as I like both maths and poetry, I like this meeting ground of the left brain and the right brain. So in China, it was perfect because there was so much technology and so much of left brain. At the same time, there was an emergence of the middle class. There was a rise of a more affluent, more digitalized, more modern consumer class that was coming in China. And that was a lot of qualitative input and understanding of that part of the world. Then in 2017, I moved to Paris, at the headquarters of L'Oreal. And here I started working at the mass beauty division. And working at the mass beauty division of the number one beauty company of the world, that is L'Oreal, I expanded my understanding of people's relationship with beauty everywhere in the world. And I think that was very, very rich learning for me. In 2021, I took this assignment, which is the Chief Digital and Marketing Officer for the L'Oreal Group. And here, I think beauty marketing is augmenting today. It is being augmented by purpose, inclusive and sustainable by design. It is being augmented by offline, online, on-chain experiences all around us. It is being augmented by data across business levers. And it is now being augmented by new technologies like generative AI. So this augmented marketing is, in a way, the perfect meeting ground of the right brain and the left brain in marketing. And that's why I have cherished the opportunity for myself and for all the marketeers around us today.
This is so much on point. I have written this book called Quantum Marketing, where I talked about Leonardo da Vinci kind of marketers. Today, marketing has to have the foundations of psychology, design, sociology, anthropology, all these softer right brain skills. And you also need the left brain with your technology, with your analytics and everything else. And you seem to really exemplify and personify that. And it's fascinating to see it. In fact, I don't know how many of my audience are aware of it. But interestingly, Asmita, I started my brush with marketing in cosmetics industry. I did, believe it or not, a summer internship when I was doing my MBA with Lakme. As you know, as a color cosmetics company in India, and I did that, and I created a campaign for them as part of my internship. It was not my project, but I accidentally got into that project, and I created this campaign called "Is It Bad to Look Good?" And this was all about the taboos that existed in South India at the time against the use of color cosmetics amongst conservative families. And how do you break out of that? And that was the campaign in terms of is it bad to look good? And that's won a lot of awards. And ever since, I have remained in marketing. So it's pretty fascinating for me to really discuss about your industry. And at that time, like I said, the theme was about overcoming the taboos associated. And, for me, what are currently the long-standing beauty challenges from your perspective, consumers' long-standing beauty challenges, if you can articulate on that, and how you are working through them for and on behalf of L'Oreal?
Yeah. Okay, so thank you for sharing your beauty journey, and I'm glad you had a beauty journey. The beauty business is like no other. I mean, it's a I will speak about it, and I'll probably take a couple of minutes, with you and with the audience to explain this and share 4 aspects of beauty. The first one is the essentiality of beauty. The second one, the macro forces that are shaping beauty today and tomorrow. The third, of course, the beauty consumer and the infinite potential that they have. And finally, what you asked about also how this brings opportunities to us, to L'Oreal as a group. Yeah. So coming to the first one, beauty is an essential human need since time immemorial. There is no culture, no time period, no civilization that has not needed beauty. We start our day and the first rituals are about beauty. And at the end of the day, when we pause and connect with the self that is in front of us in the mirror, this is how we end our day. Beauty is about self-expression and self-identity. It makes us feel good about ourselves. It makes us feel more confident about ourselves. And then, of course, beauty is an individual need, but then it is deeply social. We conform to beauty norms, and therefore we show that we belong to a certain group. At the same time, we can also disrupt those norms, and show that we are doing something else, and it's part of the beauty ritual. I think the last point I'd say on beauty is that we also, of course, we understand that beauty is an ambivalent force, both alienating and liberating. And it is by understanding the light and the dark side of technology and beauty. It is only by doing that we can create a more inclusive, more responsible, more human beauty tech. And that is what we want to do. So that's where the starting point, and that's how we feel about beauty. Then coming to what is impact. Go ahead, please. You were saying something.
No. Please go ahead.
Yeah. And then to asking about what are the macro forces that are shaping beauty for today and tomorrow, we identify a few of them, and I'm going to just list them down and maybe elaborate one. But for inclusivity, people are looking for inclusivity. Ultra potent science, health and wellness. It is impacting a lot of other industries as well. Convenience, and convenience that is bringing, technology is bringing a lot of convenience to us. Then value sensitivity because of the environment and the reality that we live in today. And finally, more about the consumers are seeking more trust and more transparency. So yes, these are macro forces, so they impact a lot of places. But then pivoting them to beauty in terms of inclusivity, it is about self-expression. Different people expressing themselves in the infinite diversity of beauty. Yeah, it is also about moving at the speed of culture. It is about ultra personalization. And then, if we speak, and I'll take one more example. If we talk about ultra potent science, now the beauty of that is science is becoming a conversation topic everywhere because there is so much access to information around beauty, dermatologists, experts. There are augmented beauty devices. Science is also about cellular biology. People want to know about their microbiome and therefore what particularly works for them. So all these forces are shaping beauty. And beauty consumers, they are everywhere around us. Like I said, it's such an essential human need. But for us and for our brands, we have 37 global brands. We assess that we have about 2.3 billion addressable target. And these 2.3 billion addressable target are growing, and they would become about 2.9 billion in the coming years by 2030. So that itself means 600 million new consumers, who are middle and upper middle class of the world, because there is an emerging middle class there. That brings a lot of potential. What also brings potential is digitalization and technology, because there are 5.3 billion people who are online today, and by 2030, 7.5 billion people will be online. And with digitalization, it enables a new kind of relationship with beauty, because the way people look for information, the way people get expertise on beauty, the way people buy beauty, it all changes. And all that, putting all that together, we feel that the beauty market is so buoyant, and we have so many opportunities. And the opportunities to us, if I were to put them, they come both in terms of generations, different generations, and different geographies. Generations, because there are boomers. So 200 million more boomers in the coming years, people more than 60-year-old, and they are looking at self-care and beauty even more acutely. Gen Z, everybody talks about them, 100 million plus Gen Z who are coming into beauty and experiencing beauty. Talk of geographies, even developed markets, you might be using a sunscreen, but daily UV sunscreen usage is just less than 30%. Huge potential. Yeah. And the last example I'll take is in a market like China, where we have a very strong presence, but still our presence is predominantly in tier 1 and tier 2 markets. And then there are 180 cities in tier 3 and tier 4 with a lot of, potential and a lot of spending on beauty. So all in all, it was such a profound question, but if I were to summarize, I feel that three things: beauty is an essential human need. Yeah, it has infinite potential, and of course, technology and digital are elevating, the way people interact with beauty today and tomorrow.
Fascinating. In fact, just to pick up on your last point, I remember from our CAN conversation and your presentation, I was fascinated to see the kind of incredible things that you're doing with technology. Yeah. You talked about handheld makeup applicators.
Yes.
You talked about color matching with virtual try-ons. You talked about skin diagnosis and hair diagnostic tools. This is like, for me, when you talk of Leonardo da Vinci in marketing, this also seems to be exactly the same, right? Beauty is, in itself, it's an art and it's an expression, as you rightly said about yourself, which is all creative. Yeah. But then so intensely now being enabled and driven by technology. Can you just share some thoughts in terms of what you have learned along the way of integrating art and technology together to make this whole thing magic happen?
So the word we use is beauty tech.
Yeah, beauty tech, okay.
Beauty tech, yeah. We are championing beauty tech, and I'll give you some context there. We embarked on the digital transformation back in 2010. A lot of companies were doing that. And then we introduced the beauty tech in 2018 to seize the opportunities of, emerging technologies. Yeah. To us, beauty tech means a new kind of relationship with our consumers, one that is based on technology, AI, data, one that is bringing ultra personalization in terms of beauty. And beauty tech, and we use this word a lot, but beauty tech is changing the game for us. And it is essential for us across the value chain. So when I say across the value chain, beauty tech is essential to know our consumers more intimately, to understand diverse hair or skin needs, to use cognitive science to understand emotions. Beauty tech is also essential to us to bring astonishing, trailblazing innovations to our consumers. And why beauty tech for innovation? Because it can open new scientific discoveries in terms of ingredients. It can help us in e-formulation and much faster formulation. Beauty tech is also helping us to empower our consumers with elevated beauty experiences. And I say that because if we look at everything around us, the consumers have so much choice. And in a way, they're expecting some kind of help to say, between all these choices, how do I make the best product choices? So therefore, we are bringing offline and online services to them to help to diagnose, and which is where what you're talking about, to diagnose, or let me start with to guide them. So how do you guide them? You guide them with a virtual try on, so you can virtually try your hair or makeup looks with an augmented reality technology. It is so much possible today, and it's beauty tech for them. To diagnose so that we are able to make product recommendations on skincare with skin diagnosis, and this uses artificial intelligence as a technology. To also predict, not just diagnose, but predict, where we move from diagnosis to prognosis, and which means more predictive AI, so more technology, or even to coach them. So when we coach them, we can bring customized routines, so that customization has AI. Or we bring them holistic, programs for them, saying this is what we need all in all for them. So all of this, and the last thing we do with beauty tech, we do a lot of things, but in that whole value chain, beauty tech is also used to augment beauty consumer journeys. The beauty journeys have been augmenting for decades, and we have been digitalizing the beauty consumer journey. And now, and we spoke about augmented marketing, but we can definitely imagine a more augmented beauty consumer journey, which will be powered by tech and AI, whether it is on content or media or capturing attention or whatever. So all of this, our motto is kind of to deliver beauty for each, powered by beauty tech. So that's a bit where our vision is.
Really, really beautiful. But one thing what brought me a little bit of a smile is when you talk of diverse hair types. So here we have got a different type of a diversity where there is no hair. So hopefully you'll have some solutions for guys like me too.
Yes, and we I think that question is a very relevant one, and there's always research in that field going on.
Got it. But on a serious note, you just touched upon AI, right? And everyone is talking about AI, particularly after Gen AI. And, I don't think any company today will admit, even if they are not, that they are using AI or that they're not using AI. Everyone is using. And so in terms of not just only from the beauty industry perspective or the products and things like that, how is AI and Gen AI impacting you from a marketing perspective? And I know your role is much broader than just marketing. You're also overall overseeing digital as well. So you're the chief marketing and digital officer. So from a marketing perspective, if I can just draw your attention to that, can you give some thoughts as to how AI is impacting you from a marketing perspective?
Yeah, no, and my role is more into the new marketing. Actually, our brands have brand precedence globally. So in terms of, we have been, let's start with AI and then we will move to Gen AI. And it's true that we have been using and applying AI in multiple ways, for quite some years, and therefore we have built a deep expertise there in our industry. We have more than 1,000 data and AI experts who are internally there. And of course, everything that we do, we want to do it with the base of responsible AI, ethics of algorithm, or absolutely with data privacy at the heart of it. And with that, I will give you one or two examples on how we are using AI and then Gen AI. So if you see acne, you spoke about hair, but another very common concern, for teenagers is acne. 80% of teenagers suffer from acne. And not only teenagers, by the way, almost 40% of adults, if you look at everybody, may suffer from acne. In such a situation, in the whole world, the access to dermatology and dermatologists is not homogeneous. So, what our brand La Roche-Posay does, La Roche-Posay has introduced a skin diagnosis service and tool, of course, using AI, yeah, but also using the expertise of dermatologists by consulting dermatologists so that they are able to see what is the skin imperfection, what is the severity of the acne. And using all of these information, we make a recommendation. And that recommendation could be a routine and say, if you use this product, it could help you, but it could also be to direct them to a dermatologist and say the severity is high and you should go to a dermatologist. So that is one use of AI and skin diagnosis.
Asmita, if I can just ask you one thing, which is, does this happen in person or is it all remote?
So this one, the La Roche-Posay spot scan service is online, but skin diagnosis is also done in store, in person. So we have devices called Lancome. I'm taking the example of Lancome, which is very much available in retail. It's a luxury product, and we offer Lancome Skin Screen in many retail stores, in person. And people can get into the device, and check themselves. It looks for 13 different clinical signs on skin, and it is based on 15,000 images that we have, diverse images from all kind of different skin types. And from there on, it does the skin diagnosis, which is based on an offline device. But the beauty of it is that this Lancome service is provided offline, but also online. So it brings both. And in both of these cases, we use our century-long expertise of science and skin, and then the power of technology and AI. So to us, it is a combination of science and technology. Yeah.
So if you were to look at it from a classical marketing perspective, we always used to say, marketing is about satisfying the needs of consumers. Right? And in this case, you're not only satisfying the needs of the consumers, but you're also going one step back and uncovering the needs of consumers, because consumers themselves may not be aware of what these specific requirements are or needs are for themselves.
Absolutely. They know that they're looking for things, and this helps them to look for things both offline and online. So absolutely. And the usage keeps on increasing. We see, and even the retailers use it. So we have our services on more than 75 different retailers on makeup virtual try-ons, for example, or skin diagnosis. And then go ahead.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, no, and your other point was that, and it's obviously we have to talk about it. You said we are at a new frontier of technology. And that new frontier of technology is generative AI. And it's with generative AI, it seems like a collective vein of humanity has been tapped. It's very much in this meeting ground of left brain and right brain. If our pillars for L'Oreal, our pillars are science, technology, and creativity, and this is touching it. And I think all marketeers feel that way. I will start with one example, and then we can say what we are doing on generative AI, because almost all marketeers are exploring the subject. Let me take an example like Prada Beauty. So our brand Prada Beauty, it has an exclusive social campaign on their own Instagram pages. And here they are trying to get a new perspective on fragrances. And very, very iconic fragrances. I don't know if you or your family have used Prada Paradox or Luna Rossa or Shen. And what they do is they use a combination of AI, an image generator, and human touch, a photographer, Johann Bass. And together they bring up never seen before visuals. Yeah, and never seen before visuals. Why? To reinterpret and to have a new kind of perception on fragrances. And they want to challenge the viewer's perception. So when you see an image of a flower and which represents a certain fragrance, it completely reinterprets of perception of what fragrance could be. And that is what the brand is trying to do. And therefore, those are the creativity and technology where it is coming together and saying, oh, I had never thought of this fragrance like that. So you can look at that campaign on the social pages of Prada. But to kind of explore this subject more, at a group level, we have made a generative AI task force. And of course, the task force is very broad. It is working across human resources, across R&I, technology, digital, and marketing, because Gen AI is touching all of this. And one of the first things we are doing is creating safe spaces for experimentation, the do's and don'ts. We have started to talk about, a L'Oreal GPT, so that we can create the prompts in a secure way. We've also taken a decision with our CEO that we will not use lifelike face or hair, which is AI generated, because we are in the beauty industry. So yes, AI generated face or hair can be used in storyboarding. It can be used for inspiration, but not for enhancing our product benefits in an external communication, because that could be misleading. So that is the principle that we are operating on. But we have a lot of augmented marketing use cases on content, on services, on consumer care, on search, and we are just like exploring it and testing it and piloting it to see what is going to come out of it.
Which is pretty fascinating. In our own interesting way, we got into multi-sensory marketing. Yeah. As a part of it, we launched 2 fragrances. The idea is to not make money out of fragrances, okay, but give an extra dimension of identity to the brand MasterCard. And wow, it's something which has really, been a fascinating journey for us to understand how does the brain perceive fragrances, which notes, what combinations create what kind of feelings and emotions. Phenomenal journey. Sometimes we should get together to exchange
That's
notes.
Fascinating. So there is a MasterCard sense of smell.
Correct. And there are 2 interpretations of it. One is called passion. The other one is called optimism. And this is something which we have launched. Again, we didn't launch it as a product to market by itself, but it is more a tangible way of how we can bring our brand to life for consumers, which otherwise, as a payment product, it can be a little bit in the ether. But really, how do you bring it more tangible? This is one of the interpretations. But we'll talk about it. The other thing, in fact, at MasterCard, as well as in my own personal journey, we are very focused on purpose, trying to make a true difference to the world, not from just political sound bites or for statements for your CEO to make in various forums, but something from a heart. How do you actually get your company support people, support the society, etc.? So we launched, for example, for blind people, a card called Touch Card, which leverages the sense of touch of the consumer to identify the card and use the card with the right orientation and so on. I was pretty fascinated that you have unveiled something called Hapta, the world's first handheld computerized makeup applicator. Can you talk a little bit about it? Because that's so near and dear to the kind of things that we are doing here at MasterCard, and want to understand what is your motivation behind it. Firstly, what it is for our audience, if you can just explain, and what is the motivation behind it, that'll be great.
Fantastic. I'm so glad you've heard about Hapta and you want to know more about it. So Hapta is an innovation that has been created with our R&I augmented, we have an augmented beauty device team. So, we actually have a department like that. And it is led by a scientist called whose name is Giv Balush. So the background is that 50 million people in the world, or 50 million people in the world have some kind of, challenge with fine motor skills. So that's a big number. Yeah. And when you have challenge with fine motor skills, of course, it may seem simple, but it's difficult for you to apply makeup, So Hapta is the world's first handheld, computerized, ultra precise makeup applicator. It is for our brand Lancome, and it is based on smart motion detection technology, So it automatically detects the motion and corrects it. And therefore, somebody who may have limited arm or hand mobility, it stabilizes the device and your lipstick you're able to put nicely and do that. So that is what Hapta is about. And it is very, 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 I mean, it has been seen in a very positive light for the brand itself, the innovation itself. But in essence, that is what is beauty tech. It is about making beauty more inclusive, more accessible, to bring devices and formulae together, to match science and technology together. And for that, we have been mentioned in the Time magazine, as a very useful innovation for people. And at CES 2023, we won 6 different awards. Apta, but others too. So we are very proud of our augmented beauty department, of what we are doing on science and technology, and all that is enhancing this beauty tech journey that we are embarking on.
Which is fascinating, and kudos to you. The point is, the subset of people who need the special assistant, the extra mile that we as companies and brands have to go through, they're often ignored. And companies, when they step up and embrace that goal and objective to help support these kind of folks, it's fascinating. People can say how critical is beauty. Is it really necessary? Is it essential? Life is not just about what you think is essential, but what people think is important for them.
Oh, yes.
And again, is it bad to look good? Is it?
So no, and beauty is an essential human need. I mean, that's we believe that, we see that around us. And I didn't share that, but our sense of purpose as L'Oreal is to create the beauty that moves the world. So we see that in some small sense, you were moved by this innovation.
Yeah, absolutely. Beyond. It's fantastic. And applaud you for that. Now, just switching gears a little bit, social media seems to be the holy grail for many companies, where particularly the new generation is coming into the usage category of a particular product or whatever. Yeah. And you've got platforms like TikTok are like, the holy grail right now. And influencers, of course, is another very important area. Now, from your own point of view, from a marketing plan, marketing framework perspective, how critical are these social media platforms as a mix? And I'm not asking it in a very Pollyannish way. Yeah. And what I mean is, everyone says, yeah, social media is important, but there are certain things which are profound and add a new level of depth and dimension when you use social media in a specific way. And I just wanted to tease out if there are things that you are doing and how you look at social media in the context of overall marketing plan.
Yeah. So at a very fundamental level, you're right, Raja. I mean, 4.8 billion people are on social today. So it's a lot of people. But social platforms themselves, they were follower based, so it was about following. Then now they're becoming more interest based on algorithms like the TikToks of the world or the short videos. From there, we are moving and we see a move to shared experiences like your Twitch, your YouTube. So pivoting to what you were saying in terms of question, what is profound, beauty seekers, they want a two-way authentic conversation between brands and consumers. Yeah. So there is this new beauty influence, which is very much there. And this brings us an opportunity. It brings us an opportunity to foster intimate connections with human-centric narratives, with a sense of belonging, relatability, transparency. And then, therefore, we are co-creating. We are co-creating, with the infotainment, edutainment, prooftainment around beauty. And we are collaborating with more than 50,000 influencers. And it's not just about influencers. There are advocates and prescribers of our brands, which is a whole ecosystem of makeup artists, hairstylists, dermatologists, healthcare professionals. So the conversation, and I was telling you before that the science conversation on beauty is growing. It is also growing because all these experts are talking about beauty everywhere around us. So we are very active, and of course we are active right from from influencers to advocates to brand ambassadors to 3D artists and the whole ecosystem that is there. I can take one or two examples to bring it to life. Of course, medical. Yeah, absolutely. So we work a lot with medical influencers for our brand La Roche-Posay, because La Roche-Posay is a dermatology skincare brand, and they want to do a combination of a dermatologist and an influencer. So it is something that is yes, it is about entertainment, but it is about serious skincare concerns, and therefore the endorsement of the dermatologist is used on social today. The other example I'd give is our brand CeraVe. Our brand CeraVe, I don't know if you use it.
I use it.
You use it? So it is America's. It has been Ad Age America's hottest brands with the likes of Barbie and ChatGPT.
Wow.
So, and the reason it is the hottest brand because it is hacking the Gen Z culture. The way it is hacking the Gen Z and their culture is by going and doing real-time listening, because you have to listen to the consumers, and a lot of them are on social, but from there identifying the people who have authentic voices, and therefore they have the influence. And once those people are identified, and they don't all look one kind, CeraVe, one of the most popular content pieces that CeraVe put out there was from somebody called Grandma Droniak. She was a grandma. Yeah, she was a grandma, and we identified her, and we told her that talk to us about CeraVe moisturizing lotion. She did it in her own unique way. She said, going on a date with my ex. And there she was telling a story about how she wanted to go on a date with her ex. It garnered like 90 million views.
Oh.
And so, and the story was told, only she could have done it. Yeah. So of course, then there are those authentic human-centric narratives which do come to play. There is expertise that comes to play. There are glamours. We also work a lot with glamours. We call them glamours. I'll take one more example: gaming influencers, because gaming is also a social activity. So our brand Maybelline New York, it won a Cannes Lion. We have to be more active in that space, but it won a Cannes Lion in social and gaming space, because what the brand's cause, you were talking about cause, it is about being brave together. So it brought this brave together cause to the gaming audiences. And how do you become brave, in a gaming world? Because I don't know if you know, there is a lot of women gamers. 40% of gamers are women. Yes. Yeah. But at the same time, they face a lot of bias. And they can face a lot of inappropriate behavior. So we created a campaign through their eyes. So we got guys to come and be that woman and play the game, and then see what kind of behavior they kind of receive and be on the receiving end of that. And of course, it is something that, again, it's the voice of the glamour. It's the voice of the influencers on Twitch, on Roblox, on new platforms that are coming in. So it is an absolutely important part of our marketing strategy and communication strategy.
Brilliant. In terms of talking of women gamers, that point resonates instantly to me, because one of the things that we have done a few years back, probably with the first global brand as MasterCard, to have gone into the sponsorship of esports.
Yeah. Okay.
And we got into esports. We started sponsoring League of Legends, which is the world's #1 esport. And it was so successful for us that we have gone and now sponsored the world's third largest esport, which is called Valorant. So we have #1 and #3 with us.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. And exactly the point that you have mentioned, we started observing this behavior of how women are bullied and treated unfairly in the gaming space, particularly. So we have launched a whole bunch of initiatives. One is we have got the MasterCard, we call it the Gaming Accelerator, where we actually teach people how to make a career out of gaming. And women is the primary focus for us. And so we got a whole bunch of things. So probably something we should...
Gaming Accelerator.
MasterCard Gaming Accelerator. Yeah.
Okay, it's very, very interesting, by the way. And maybe we offline, I should learn more about it from you.
Would love to. And I think there are so many points of intersection which we should discuss on, including the fact that you talked about 2.2 billion. We got 2.3 billion consumers who have a MasterCard. So there is lots of similar. So, I know we've got about 4 minutes time and I want to be respectful, but just one quick question, and we cannot not talk about data. Data is one of those fields which powers the engine of marketing in a big way. And you also mentioned right in the beginning that you're talking about privacy conscious and consumer first, consumer centric. Just give me a little quick overview on your data approach. How are you using and approaching data for marketing in specific?
Yeah. No, and you're right. So data driven, I think most companies are becoming data driven across all their business levers. If we talk about, I'm thinking of what is the most relevant example to take here. I spoke about services. Yeah. Yep. And saying we are moving from product to services. Now, when you move from product to services and a consumer is using our services, of course, we provide that service to them using AI and our science and data there. But once they use it, that behavior is available to us. We know which lipstick shades are very popular in which geography. We know which skincares are most important. And we never store the image of the consumer. We never have like the name of the consumer, but the behavior of the consumer is available. And that is all there in a beauty tech data platform. So we learn more from that. Yeah, upstream, we learn a lot in terms of product innovation. Then if you talk about more in terms of content creation, all the social listening and real-time social listening, means a lot of trends like glass makeup or lipstick to blush makeup. All that has to be listened to and then used real time. And then more content needs to be produced there. Yeah. And then the third one is, I think we're becoming more data driven in the way we optimize our NP, with of course, short-term ROI, but long-term brand equity. So that is at an ROI level, but also at the activation level, because media is becoming more AI powered and data driven. So we are using a lot of first party anonymous and nominative data to power that media, and that is going to be more and more important. 2024 is just around the corner, which is the cookie-less world is coming.
It indeed is. But talking of 2024, what would be your main priority or main priorities, which you feel comfortable about to talk for next year?
I think for the world in general, we are in a state of continuous reinvention. So for our company and for our CEO and management, we feel like we're in a state of permanent transformation, and we have to be ready for that continuous reinvention first. Second, and we spoke so much about it at the beginning, that there's this time of a fresh reorientation. This reorientation where the collision of science, technology, and creativity is coming together. They're colliding. And we will be ready for that, and we want to be ready for that. And then a new reasoning, because we need to understand and process what our AI will do. It is in hyperdrive today. But all in all, I feel that what is coming is marketing, which is augmented and which is a meeting ground of the left brain and the right brain. And I think that meeting ground will create something really, really wonderful magical for the future.
Fantastic, Asmita. Thank you so very much for a really fascinating conversation. And hopefully the audience would have found it as valuable and as interesting as I found it myself.
Likewise.
And I really encourage the folks to please share your thoughts and let me know who else would you want me to get to these LinkedIn live sessions. It's all about you at the end of the day. You have to find value in all this, and I'll be very delighted to do that. And all of you, please to have happy holidays, and those of you who celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas, and a wonderful, wonderful Happy New Year to all of you. And Asmita, once again, thank you so much, and look forward to connecting with you offline to catch up on a whole bunch of ideas now that I have on what we can collaborate on. Okay.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. Season's greetings.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you very much, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.